Hey, what's going on, everybody? That's Matthew back with another episode of the My Favorite LJN tournament. And this is episode number 6 of the tournament revisited. Today we only have 5 battles, so not any real competition, one-on-one type of deal. It's all going to be originals versus customs. So I'm only limiting this video to 5 figures today for the simple fact that quite a number of these have so many duplicates that it may take 30 minutes to get through those 5 versions. So we are going to dive right in. And the first one we're going to be looking at is the Vince McMahon Series 5 figure. Absolutely beautiful figure. Actually, one of my favorites. In the previous battle, actually, I don't want to say the previous battle because that's going to be a giveaway for the next round. Now, this is the Vince McMahon. I'm just start off with that. This is Vince McMahon that I know. You know, Gorilla Monsoon, Bobby the Brain Heenan, Jerry Lawler, and Vince McMahon. Those are the commentators of my childhood. And to think of Vince McMahon as a wrestler, you know, Royal Rumble champion, guy who stepped in the ring and beat the crap out of Ric Flair. No, that to me is not Vince McMahon. This is the man that I know as Vince McMahon, one that I respected and whose commentary I cherished. I do have a really nice custom version of the Vince McMahon figure, and even though they are the exact same figure, whoever customizes this kind of makes the face pop a little bit more. It just makes it look a little bit more human, you know? And even though I love, you know, blue and red, my top 2 favorite colors, you would imagine I would cherish the blue just a shade more. And it has a lot of perks that the original doesn't. You know, for example, I love the darker gray suit that he's wearing. And I love the fact that it's all gray as opposed to gray and blue. But in this particular case, I'm not going to, you know, shoot around the bush here. I'm going to jump straight in and select the original Vince McMahon as my winner. And moving on to round 2. Alrighty. So the next one is going to feature the Axe figure of Demolition. So back in the heyday, they made Axe on Series 5. They came back, re-released him in Series 6 on the black card. And they were supposed to come out with a Smash figure, but Grand Toys, when LJN and them merged, or, you know, brought them out, however that happened, they never came out with Part 2 of Demolition. So Smash was in the wind for, you know, over 30 years until Random Treasures came out with the phenomenal duplicate of the Axe figure, and they completed the whole Demolition tag team. I'm still waiting for them to come out and make 3 versions of the Crush figure. The one I want most, obviously, is Demolition. I still want the Kona Crush, but even more so than Demolition, I'm really looking forward to the evil Purple Crush version of. So if that ever happens, I don't know. I asked about that months ago. They said it was, you know, on their bucket list essentially, but who knows? It could be a minute we're waiting, but I do think they will eventually come out with a Crush Demolition, and I'll be definitely all for that one. So Red Face Axe, I don't remember this. I'm trying to think back, man. I just don't have that type of memory to remember all this. That's not the version I remember. The version that Random Treasures came out with, this one right here, I'm more familiar with that version right there. Now, I actually have 2 different customs of the Axe figure, and they're basically the exact same one. Now, truth be told, both of these figures came from Buddy Daly on eBay. If you ever look up his account, Stanger GQ, one of the elite sellers, one of my favorites. I bought both of these figures from him, but when you look at Random Treasures website, this figure with his exact paint scheme is among their figures. So even though I bought this from a different seller, when I did my last review of all of the different Random Treasure figures, I included this one for that purpose. But you actually look at the color scheme of the figure. This is an original figure. There's no doubt. The Random Treasures figure is much more light rubber. I'm not a fan favorite. Obviously, I like the original a whole lot better. So we're gonna start off with the original, with the first custom. I just like this one better. I like the paint scheme better. The red face, kind of demonic. I mean, I like that look, but to be honest, but I'm still gonna go with this one a little bit better. So this one, I don't know. I mean, I think they tried their best to kind of mimic this version as much as they could. Again, these are actually two original figures as well, with just a repainted face. You know, it's not like a Ram Treasures version. But again, I think there's no doubter that this version, the XOX Customs, so to speak, version of Acts of Demolition would get the nod to move on to the next round. And recently, in the last several weeks, I've been, last couple months, I've been buying up a lot of Hasbro figures, mainly the tag teams, and I completed the tag team purchases. Those things were so crazy expensive. We are able to find I was able to get the Smash and Crush tag team. I think I paid like $350. I screwed up big time on that one. I was watching it. Someone sent me an offer. And, you know, it says accept, decline, counteroffer, or accept, counteroffer, decline. And for whatever reason, my mind was like, you know, whenever someone sends you an offer, oh, great, here's a savings, let me buy it. You know, I'm not like one of those people who start watching a figure or start watching something on eBay and with no interest or no intent to ever purchase it. A lot of time, I want to buy something, but I may not like their price. So I'll watch it, see if they send me an offer, and if I can save a few dollars, perfect. Sometimes I don't like, even if it gives you the option to like make an offer, I don't. Only because I don't want to feel like I'm lowballing someone. You know, if I'm watching something that's $50 and I think it's, hey, I'm comfortable paying $30, and they make me an offer for like $40, I'll look at them like, okay, you know what? The seller's trying to work with me, I'll work with them. So that's something I would accept, but and so they sent me an offer for the 2-pack and for like $350. And for whatever reason, my mind just went to accept, but I didn't want to because I would never pay $350 for a Demolition. And the car was beat up too. I was so mad about that, but it was already done. So, and then I had to get the Smash. Nope, it wasn't Smash. It was Axe. I did get the Axe individual card. I could probably still get the Smash individual card, but even those individuals are like $200 to $300 plus. So I don't know why Demolition is so expensive on it. They're like little plastic 4-inch figures, but oh well, I digress. Once again, the XOX version paint scheme is moving on to round 2. So the next one is one of my favorite wrestlers. So this guy is kind of like the Bushwhackers. When you look at some of the old regional wrestling matches, their matches are so brutal and bloody, and it's just so realistic and phenomenal, and the matches are just so interesting. And then they come to WWF and they've got these gimmicks, and they become, I don't want to say grounded, but just not able to let loose, really, not the way that they have been in previously. And so we got this Jim Duggan figure, you know, in all black. I think at this time he was, when he battled Andre the Giant, I think he was in all black, but he may have been in blue. I don't remember. I remember reading an article about it, and he's mentioned that, you know, outside of winning the Royal Rumble in '88, you know, that was probably the highlight of his career, was being able to do battle with Andre the Giant. And, you know, he beat that man with to the 2x4. So, this one is not a bad figure. It actually, it looks beautiful, you know, great design. The fighting pose is adequate. I can understand this because of the 2x4 and the way that it kind of holds it and maybe sometimes rests on the shoulder. Because of the accessory, the pose makes sense for me. The whole thumbs up, ho type of thing. Same thing with the Hasbro thumbs up gimmick. We could do without. But this is still a good fightable figure. You could still do clotheslines and throw punches, and you could still do a underarm kind of, body slam if you wanted to. Aesthetically, it's a fine figure. I mean, it's not elite. I wouldn't put it in my top 20, I don't think. Top 30 is a possibility. I really enjoy the figure. I've never been able to make use out of this before. I do have duplicates of the figure, but a lot of times I'll buy duplicates because I want to put them in a particular listing, like a group of figures, create these lots to make them more, interesting to buyers. It just doesn't work out for me, unfortunately. But Jim Duggan, a phenomenal figure. The next Hacksaw figure I have also comes from Stinger GQ, and it is the version that I'm fully aware of. Kind of like the Series 2 Jim Duggan from Hasbro, where he's in all blue. I don't remember Hacksaw in black as a kid, but all day I remember the blue outfit, and I can't quite get his... This one was kind of beat up. I think I got this one for like $25, and reason being is because of, the discrepancy to the hands and arms. Otherwise, I think this thing would have easily sold for $80, maybe more. But then again, I've seen really good figures sell for much less. So, but yeah, I think there would have been definitely been a big bidding war on this figure if it wasn't damaged the way it was. Still, the way that they kind of paint the beard, it looks really nice. Like, it looks much better and much more human-like, I guess, than the original. Even though I grew up with the blue Hacksaw, and I absolutely love the color design on this, I'm going to go with the original on this one. And as you'll see in this competition, a good chunk of the time I may choose customs over the original, but sometimes you'll come across an original that's just too good to pass on. And that's kind of like the same one with this Hacksaw version. If anyone, I think I mentioned this before with another version, if anyone owns a Royal Rumble 88 tape and you're willing to sell it, I mean, I'm definitely all ears. Because it wasn't a pay-per-view type event, I think it was like a televised event like Raw or something. I don't even know if a 88 Royal Rumble exists on tape, on like Coliseum home video or anything like that. I think maybe the 89 version would exist. But there are like maybe 5 Royal Rumbles I really care about. The 88 with Hacksaw as winner. The 89 with Big John Studd. The 1990 version, which I got, where Hulk Hogan defeats Mr. Perfect. And I got the 91. It wasn't as enjoyable. Hogan again wins, beats Earthquake. And then 92 is obviously the best. And 95, I'm gonna get to the 95 Rumble at a later time, because that one is an interesting story. So once again, original Duggan. Moving on to round 2. The next one is going to feature a favorite of mine. Again, not an elite figure. I'd probably put him in the top 30, maybe top 35, but everything from the high tops of it to the whole Elvis look. The Honky Tonk Man is such a fantastic figure. It's just so much fun. And he does have, of course, just like the Hasbro, the greatest accessory of the line. Just a phenomenal look. And I mentioned it before, if this was just a simple figure in trunks and boots, I probably wouldn't feel as great about the figure as I do. But with this beautiful clothing, it makes the figure pop. It makes it an interesting figure. And it's a communication, figure, basically. It's something you talk about. So I did a review of this figure and its customs, so I may not spend too much time talking about these individual figures. So right off the bat, one of the first ones, which had a lot of paint loss, and all this thing is doing is kind of sitting on my cabinet right now, so it's not being moved or anything like that. So it's kind of weird how the figure is starting to like bleed through. Like his face is starting to look like like the rainbow. You know, it's got like yellow and green and blue type, and same thing's happening to his hands, starting to bleed through the skin. The outside, it's like extremely sticky. It's a good looking figure. I mean, you take away the paint bleed and all that. It's a nice figure. It's not my favorite. In this one, he would lose to the original. So right off the bat, we know that the black suit Honky Tonk Man would not move forward. The next one is also from Stinger GQ, which could potentially be the best of this lot. And it has an absolutely phenomenal design. I mean, there is just no negatives about this figure. So everything from the yellow handkerchief to the design of the sparklies around his entire jumpsuit to, you know, the high top of the pants. It is just a phenomenal figure. And if you were going one-on-one, yes, absolutely. The Stinger GQ defeats the original in that matchup. But I do have one final version, and that is the very first purchase from the Raider Nation. Well, the very first custom purchase, I should say. And that is the Honky Tonk Man Black. Such a phenomenal figure. You really couldn't go wrong with either figure. They're both absolutely phenomenal. When I did this the first time around, this version did win. And he is going to move on to the next round as well. But this one also made it extremely far in my competition, and one that I thought had a legitimate chance of winning the entire tournament. It was just that good. Again, Honky Tonk Man with his phenomenal accessory. Great fighting pose. Not the best, but you know, still really good. And just a beautiful, beautiful design. And you know, I kind of keep him stuck in here with the 4 Left 3D Creations LJN stands from David Garland on Etsy. And you'll see it back here on a lot of my figures. You know, I've got a lot of these figures sitting on stands. And I'm thinking most of them I'm going to probably take off, you know, and start using for my customs. Because those stands are basically taking up, you know, needed space on the shelf. Now, if they're like sitting up here or something, or sitting on this cabinet back behind this computer here, yeah, this would be beautiful for display purposes. But on the shelf, something like this, it would just be too bulky. So once again, the Honky Tonk Man Black from the Raider Nation does move on to round 2. And how is this man considered the greatest Intercontinental Champion that ever lived? Like, I know people make these remarks, you know, like the adorable Adrian Adonis, you know, things like that. But it's really frustrating and really annoying. To me, Honky Tonk Man is a low-level wrestler who gets beat up a lot. I think he won a Royal Rumble or a Battle Royal or something. I think that's how he became champion. But what's more annoying than seeing a wrestler thrown out in a Royal Rumble within seconds of him entering, or him only being in the competition for a few minutes? You don't really give him an opportunity, so that really sucks. But even worse than that is when you have a championship match. I don't care if it's tag team, intercontinental, or heavyweight championship. That is for a title belt. I don't care if it's a pay-per-view, WrestleMania type event, or if it's a Monday Night Raw type of deal. If you're going to have a championship match, make it competitive. Ultimate Warrior comes in, beats him up for like a minute and a half, pins him, and that's the battle. We have a new champion. If Honky Tonk Man is that easily defeated, how could he ever be champion? That's just so frustrating. And I don't remember, was Rhythm and Blues with Greg Valentine, were they ever tag team champions? I think they were, but I can't remember for sure. I mean, I guess that's an Eagle Google search, but... Alright, so moving on to the last figure of this battle, of this round, of this video, however you want to say it. So I'm going to start off with the 2 original LJNs. So this one actually is original LJN, and I gotta maneuver my legs. I'm sorry, guys. Ooh. I really gotta find a really small chair because kind of sitting on this little can, it really hurts. Okay, so this one I actually got from Random Treasures. Whenever I come across a red shirt original, it's got massive paint loss, where the red shirt is like hardly noticeable sometimes. And you know, they sell for like $200. I'm like, no. Do I want an original? Absolutely, but $200 for you know, this right here. Even this is, you know, not that bad, but I mean, it's something. I mean, would you pay $200 on this one? I think I pay anywhere between $100 to $150 for these figures. Anyways, so because all of these figures have the exact same fighting pose, you are going to see a ton of Hulk Hogan figures, and they both came out on Series 5, and they were re-released in Series 6. So, sometimes someone will specify on auction, you know, Series 6 Blackheart figure, which makes the price jump so significantly, even though they're basically the exact same figure. I know Hulk Hogan with yellow trunks. This right here, yellow trunks, yellow boots with the red knee pads. That's Hulk Hogan, I know. But for the sake of this first matchup between the LJN originals, and yes, any LJN original version that Random Treasure makes, I do consider them originals on my shelf. I will go with the white shirt Hulk Hogan. I just think it looks so much, you know, looks really nifty, and I love the Hulkamania on the shirt. And there's just so many positives about this figure. So, alright. I believe the rest of these figures came from nope. I think one came from, actually let me start with Random Treasures first. So this one, the Rippum, Rip Thomas from No Holds Barred figure. By chance, I acquired this figure, and I think I got him in, and then like a couple days after I got him in, or a day or two after I got, well, yeah, about the same day or day after, I saw on Etsy a Zeus figure. So when that happened, man, I was through the moon. I've rarely been so excited about a Random Treasures purchase. Now, when I got the Zeus figure in, I made like a 7-minute video because I wanted to rush to make a video about that figure. It was so awesome, and I could not stop smiling that entire video. When I got the Sid Vicious figure in, you know, same thing. I was crazy excited about that. I've seen this figure on their site for months, and I didn't know if I was ever going to get it. I didn't think I was, but then I decided one day to finally pull the trigger, and I'm glad I did because, you know, Zeus became available shortly thereafter. So in this case, as much as I love Rip Thomas, I love the No Holds Barred movie, and you know, he's got everything from the white heavyweight belt from the movie. Beautiful accessory to add to this particular figure. I still like the original white shirt LJN better, even though the blue color pops so well. No Holds Barred, I don't know if you would consider that to be a comedy. But when he's kidnapped and he's roughing up the goons who, you know, inside the little warehouse or parking lot, wherever he's at, and he rips the door off the limousine and grabs the driver out, and that man craps all over himself. Oh my God. The response after, you know, he asks about the smell, it's like, I don't care if you're 8 years old or if you're 80 years old. That stuff is hilarious. And Hogan's response afterwards, if you guys haven't seen the movie, I mean, it's not anything that's going to blow your mind, but I mean, I watched it for the first time in probably 20 plus years a few months ago, and to me, the movie still held up. I really still enjoyed it. You know, it's not like it's the type of movie that you enjoy as a kid, but, you know, wouldn't like as an adult. You know, it still was a fantastic movie. sad to see this go, but again, you're coming across several of these type of figures in this pose, and I am sticking with the white shirt original. So this one, I think, well, I mean, the rest of these came from Stinger GQ, and it's very reminiscent of the original type version. Much better paint scheme. I mean, obviously it's been repainted, and what I really like about this is the white, or the cross around his neck. Obviously, you don't get that cross on all the figures, so that's unique and one that's really remarkable. And like I said, the overall figure, it's pretty identical to an original LJN red shirt original. The same way with the first figure. I chose white shirt, so I'm sticking with the white shirt once again. For whatever reason, I keep buying these figures, and I've got like three versions, even though they're the exact same figure. So this one I got from Random Treasures. That was supposed to be an LJN original. The rest of these came from Stinger GQ. This one has a cross. This one does not have a cross. And they're identical figures. I mean, so there's not much to say from that. They're all being beat by the white shirt Hogan. This one was part of the Mega Powers Hulk Hogan, and this is definitely one that I'm more familiar with. You know, Hulk Hogan with yellow pretty much all over, minus knee pads. I'm still going to go with the white shirt Hogan on this one. I mean, this is the Hogan I know and love. I mean, this is what I'm familiar with, and it's a beautiful figure, designed all over the place. But I just can't pass on the white shirt for whatever reason. Maybe it's because of the uniqueness, and because it's different from pretty much all the other figures I have, but I like it a lot, and I'm not ready to say goodbye yet. So here is... Now I think I finally found the one that's going to replace it. Both have red trunks. You know, this one strictly all white. Well, this one sticks with a lot of similarities to the Hogan figure. Now, they do switch it up a little bit. Instead of having your red shirt with yellow trunks, I don't know. I really like the paint, the way they repainted this figure. It's just an absolute beauty. In one of these figures, I think maybe this one. Actually, I'm pretty sure I could figure it out based on the outline. No, it's not here. But I'm pretty sure that I got one of these red shirt Hogans that was repainted over a white shirt Hogan. Nah, you know what? I really love this one, but I think I'm going to stick with the white shirt once again. And the very last matchup. This is a tough one now. And now it really gets interesting. I mean, look at the overall. I mean, for the most part, it's relatively the same figure. They do change a few things here and there. I mean, obviously, they're all the same figure. I mean, that's not in question. I just really like the American Made on this one. So, I want to say that they have the same figure on Random Treasures. I didn't get this one from Random Treasures. I mean, like I said, pretty much all of these came from Stinger GQ. I had chosen the white shirt original LJN against like 50,000 different Hogans, but I'm finally ready to pass him up and move on with the blue trunks American Made Hulk Hogan to move on to round 2. You know, you would think that I wouldn't enjoy having so many of the exact same figures. But when you look at this, I mean, wow. I can't get them all in my hands. So we're at 3, 6. I've got 8 of these guys. I'm going to have to start selling them. I keep seeing them on auction and I keep wanting them. But, I mean, with the red shirt and yellow trunks especially, they are... Because I have so many of those figures, I just don't see a point of keeping all of them. But, I don't know. When I buy some of these things, it's really difficult for me to let go of them. So, even if I have a lot of duplicates... So where are we at? We're about 30 minutes right now, which I thought we would do. I think I said 30 minutes for these 5 matchups. So today, again, this is the second video I've made tonight. Right now it is 1:16 a.m. on Friday, September 23rd. So I will make one more video tonight. And I talked about it in the last video. I'm probably going to finish this entire tournament in like 2 weeks. But because I'm going to be posting them every 3 days, it's probably going to take 2 months to to get every single one uploaded. I'm going to obviously do it better than I did the first time around, where I uploaded like 7 videos in one night, and then came back the next day, and then uploaded like another 7 videos. So, yeah. Hopefully things are going great. This video, because of the so many duplicates, it probably wasn't as... I don't know. I still like doing this, but I think some of the other videos were just a little bit better because, you know, we had more real competitions. Once we get through all of these originals versus customs and get to round 2, I think that's when things are really going to start taking off. Because at that point, you're going to have your best figures forward, and you're really going to have to sit there and kind of ponder the figures. You know, what they mean to you, who the character is, the designs, playability, all that's going to play into factor. So this first round is essentially just getting through all your customs and trying to have one figure through. So, yeah. If we say 72 original figures, and imagine if every figure had at least one custom, I mean... You would basically be doing 72 matches the first time around, and you would still have those exact same 72 figures to match up in the second round. But, anyways, that's all for now. What's the planned itinerary for anything else coming up? I don't think so. Like I said, I'm gonna make one more video tonight. I don't like stopping once I get started in this stuff. This is really a lot of enjoyment for me. So, trying to give you guys a heads up at what to expect. Alright, so it looks like we're going to have... So we got Jimmy Valiant, One Man Gang, Slick, the referees. We've got Strike Force, and we've got $1 Million Man. I do have duplicates of the $1 Million Man. I have a duplicate of One Man Gang. I have a duplicate of the referees. So I might have to dive into Series 6 after that. Because I do have because I have so many customs to battle originals. I don't think I'm going to have the regular 7 matchups as I have been doing. Okay, that's it for now. Thank you again, everyone. Please leave any comments that you might have. Let me know what you think, and if there's any recommendations for improvement. As again, you know, I do these videos for you guys, so definitely want to make sure that I'm appealing to everybody. Thank you so much, everyone, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Goodbye for now.